Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on July 25th, 2018. If you like to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to demonstrate on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize at the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 9, 23, 56, 58, and 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I'll transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with the orange area, the green, the blue, and the purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so how this works is, again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. I divided them among 5 colors, which equals 13.8. Okay, so my goal is to get either 13 or 14 numbers per color. Okay, so for this drawing, I have 15 red numbers, 14 orange, 13 green, 9 blue, and 18 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here, over here to the right, there's 247. This tells me how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And again, these are the color code drawings. Okay, so out of this 247 drawings, 128 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 87 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 24 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 9 times out of 247 drawings have all 5 colors come up together, and never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 3 right here, right in the middle, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 1 orange, 3 green, and 1 purple. 1 blue for 3 colors total. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to correctly guess what the next number will be here. Okay, so more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners. So that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so to help me out with that, I'm going to turn to how all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for me, I'm going to pick that no orange numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why is because an orange number has come up in the last 10 drawings. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 drawings. Okay, so you can see this 10th drawing has no orange numbers to it. And I think that's what's going to happen for this upcoming drawing. Okay, so I don't believe that any orange numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so the thing about this game is that we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, so I look at it and say I don't think any orange. You may look at it and say I don't think any green is going to come up or whatnot. Okay, so again, I don't think any orange numbers are going to come up, so I'm going to eliminate them off the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far with no orange numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these orange numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these orange numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right, these are the numbers that just came up in the drawing. Again, it was the 9, 23, 56, 58, and 68. Okay, so that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. And what you're going to see is that I divided the 69 numbers into 7 groups. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and this is the only group with 9 numbers, and all the other groups have 10 numbers to it. Okay, so the next group is 10 through 19, and then it's the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay, so for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this game is this big area represents 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. One, when I go back into the history of things and see what colors have come up, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within these 5 drawings for this certain group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5, or vice versa. Okay, so that's how I like to use this game. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. And for this drawing here, I don't think any 20 numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why, and again, we're all going to look at this differently, is that 20 numbers have been really hot as I go back through the history of things. Okay, so I just think that it's kind of due to cool off. Okay, so I think there's only going to be 3 of these colored numbers here taken in the 20. So I really don't think any more 20 numbers are going to come up in these next 5 drawings. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the 20s off the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. Okay, so another way that you can use this game, okay, is you could just highlight one number. Like I could highlight the 9 here and go down through and see what colors have come up. Okay, so it hasn't been red in a very long time, so it's in the red area now. So maybe a red will come up, okay, for this 9. All right, who knows? All right, and another way that I use this game is I try to correctly guess how many groups will be hit. Okay, so you could look down through the history of things and see that most of the time it's either a 3 or a 4. Okay, every once in a while a 5 will pop up, and every once in a blue moon a 2 will pop up. Okay, so I'll show you the example of a 2. Okay, so here's a 22 and 23, both in the 20 group, and then the 62, 63, and 66, all 3 of them in the 60 group for 2 groups total. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers, and I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right to speed things up. And this is what the game card looks like so far, with no orange numbers from the color code, and now no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my guesses here, okay, and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so let me go to option card number 1 here. Okay, so you can see that I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so here's option card number 1 right here. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the numbers into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that came up were the 9, 23, 56, 58, and 68. Okay, so you can see down here in the red, there was 1, okay, and that represents that 9, okay. Over here in the blue, there was 1, and that represents that 23. And then there was 2 in the orange, and that represents the 58 and the 68, which both share this square right here. And I'll go over that in a second. Okay, and then in the green, there was 1 here, and that represents the 56. Okay, so when all 4 colors get hit like that, I call that a row. Okay, so now I could go back to the history and see where the rows have been. Okay, so is that if it hasn't been a row in a while, then it's due to happen. Okay, and if it's going to happen like that, then I want the 5 white winning Powerball numbers to represent all 4 of these color groups. Okay, so moving on to option card number 2. Okay, so you can see the red areas from option card number 1 and how I change things up for option card number 2. Okay, so here's a totally different group of numbers. All right, so here you can see that there was 3 in the red area, and that represents the 9, the 58, and the 68. And then there was no winning Powerball numbers in the blue area, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange, and there was 2 in the green area, and that represents the 23 and 56. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up in this last drawing, I could have eliminated all these blue numbers and gave myself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I want you to notice these numbers off here to the left. Okay, like I said, this 58 shares the square with the 68. Okay, so what that means is when I go back here, okay, if I decide to get rid of all these red numbers, I'm going to do it as a group. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all these numbers as a group, and that includes the 58 and the 68. Okay, so you just have to look at this as grouping up numbers. Okay, so when I go back to the game card here, the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 with the 65, the 53 with the 69, and the 58, of course, with the 68. Okay, so the reason why I have these numbers off here to the left is because of the color code. Okay, so it just happens to be that the 8 is purple and the 66 is purple. Okay, maybe if I go back one. Okay, you can see that the 19 is orange and the 67 is red. Okay, so it just happens to be that the 8 and 66 are purple, the 25 and 65 are green, the 53 and 69 are blue, and the 58 and 68 are red. Okay, but still they're different colors and they need some separation. Okay, so this is going to be my first pick. Group 1, option card number 5, no orange numbers. Okay, so as I go back here, again I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so here's option card number 5. And I don't think any orange numbers are going to come up. I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently. But the reason why I'm picking this is as I go down through, you can see that every once in a while, 3 zeros will come up in a column. Okay, sometimes even 4. Okay, but in this orange area, it's never been 3 zeros before. Okay, so I just think that it's due to happen. All right. I mean, it's happened on all the other columns. Okay, so it's never happened here in the orange, and I think it's due to happen right here. Okay, so I don't think any orange numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far with group 1 option card number 5, no orange numbers. Okay, and plus the no orange from the color code and no 20 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 10, no orange numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because this has hit 18 drawings in a row where one of these orange numbers have come up. Okay, so I just think it's due to miss. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here, which means I don't believe that any of these orange numbers are going to be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and you can see underneath group 1, option card number 10, no orange numbers, and you can see that all those orange numbers are gone now. Okay, so I'm off to back to group 1 for one last pick, and that's option card number 13, no blue numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one, and again, we're all going to look at this a little bit differently, but sometimes this number repeats itself. Okay, you can see like this 3 came up and then a 3 came up right after it. Okay, so sometimes it repeats itself like that, and I just have a gut feeling that that's what's going to happen here. Okay, so I don't believe that any of these blue numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And again, you could read underneath group 2, option card number 13, no blue numbers. Okay, so again, if I made all the correct guesses here and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, and I'm going to start off with option card number 1. Okay, and I'm going to show you how this works. Again, I divided it into 8 different groups, so I have 8 different colors, and they're all the same colors for each option card, and it goes red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, and down here are the stats, so I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to point out this red area right here. And here's the stats for them down here. So this 0 means that none of these red numbers came up in the drawing. Okay. And then this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area here. Okay. So how I use this is I like to divide things into, I like to keep track of 5 drawings. Okay. And the reason why I like to do that is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so you can see out of these 5 drawings, there was 3 zeros and 2 hits. Okay, so 3 misses and 2 hits. So when that happens, the majority is misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so you can see the one below it. The majority is hits, so I colored the background red for hot. Okay, so this is the beginning of the stats, okay? And down here is current, okay? So because the lottery is so random, okay, I know that nothing can stay hot forever, and I know that nothing can stay cold forever, okay? So as I go down through, you can see that things got really hot, then it got a little cold, then it got really hot again, then it went back and forth of being hot and cold, okay? So I just think that it's due to go cold again, okay? So I think there's going to be a 0 right here, okay? Which means I don't believe that any of these red numbers are going to be coming up, okay? So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, you can read underneath group 2, option card number 1, no red numbers, and you can see that there's no red numbers here anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2 for another pick. And my next pick is option card number 2, no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the yellow. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot. And they kind of stayed hot, okay? And now I think it's going to have a long streak of blue here, okay? So I don't believe that any yellow numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card, okay? So I don't believe that any of these yellow numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to scroll down. And you can see underneath group 2, option card number 2, no yellow numbers. And you can see that there's no yellow numbers here. Okay, so I'm going to go back for another pick. And that's option card number 8, no green numbers. Okay, so again, folks, there's really no rhyme or reason why one of these groups of numbers is not going to come up. Okay, I just know that there's 8 groups and there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, so I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so which one of these groups won't have it? Who knows, right? It's just all a guess. Okay, so for me, I don't think any of these green numbers are going to come up in this option card number 8, so I'm going to get rid of them. Okay, so as I head down through, you can see that things got kind of hot here, okay, and now I think it's going to cool off, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to be coming up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left, and again, you can read underneath group 2, option card number 8, no green numbers, and all those green numbers are gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back for one last pick. And that's option card number 9, no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the yellow. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot right here. Okay, pretty hot right here. And now I think it's going to go cold. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here, which means I don't believe that any of these yellow numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so again, if I made all the correct picks, okay, and the key word here is if. If I made all the correct picks and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 5, strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so once about 2 years ago, okay, and this is how hard it is to get down to reducing all the numbers correctly. It's taken me a couple years. Okay, so like I said, I did this a couple years ago where I reduced the numbers down to 10, and the 5 winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers still left on the game card. Okay, I only got 2 correct that day. I only picked 2 numbers correct, but that's when I came up with this 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, it it is possible to do. It's very, very hard, of course, but it's possible to do. Okay, so when I did do it, that's when I said to myself, gee, I think I'm really onto something here. You know, I reduced the numbers down and I gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize, you know, by doing this. Okay, so I'm off to the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the upcoming majority will be. Okay, so how this works is I kept track of 292 drawings. Okay, and out of this 292, 150 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 142 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so here I'll like to keep things, keep track of everything in 5 again, so it shows me that majority. Okay, so you can see in this 5 drawings here, it was all odd numbers, so odd 1, 5 drawings to 0. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see odds, 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 evens, evens, odds, evens, odds, odds, odds. Okay, so for me, I think that this 5 is going to be evens. Okay, and I think that the majority will be evens for this drawing. Okay, so when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want at least 3 of them to be even numbers. Okay, so as I head on over, the next one is high and low, so all the numbers in red are considered high. All the numbers in blue are considered low. Okay, so you can see it was 144 to 148, which is pretty close. And this one's dead on. Okay, 146 to the majority to the left side and 146 to the majority to the right side. Okay, so I'm thinking that the majority will probably be over here to the right side for this upcoming drawing. Okay, and then the last one I have is this red and blue area, and you can see that the red is 169 to 123, and I have a gut feeling that it's going to be more blue than red. Okay, so one last thing that I have here, this is for the red ball itself. This is for the Powerball. Okay, so if you don't really know about the Powerball, how it works is there's 69 white ball numbers, and out of those 69, you have to correctly guess 5 numbers. Okay, and then there's 26 red ball numbers, and you have to correctly guess 1 of those. Okay, so if you get all 6 numbers correct, then you win the grand prize, which is $147 million for this drawing. Okay, so the last one was a number 1 for the red ball. Okay, so you can see I put a number 1 here. So if you're looking at this column right here, basically what I did is I took all 26 numbers and divided it into 2. Okay, so if you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a high number, that means it's 14 to 26. Okay, so over here in this column, if you see a red number, that means it's odds, and if you see a blue number, then that means it's evens. Okay, so for me, I like looking at the colors. Okay, so if there's a long streak of red right here, well, I know it's going to eventually turn blue. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so I think that this is going to stay blue for some reason, just a gut feeling. Okay, and I think that this is going to stay red. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the left, and you can see that the 50-50 picks. Okay, and I also thought that this was going to be more to the right side as well. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from group 2. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards here in group 2. Okay, and they all have the same colors to it as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that there's 15 red areas, there's 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on, okay? So I like to keep track of that, and I call that the Group 2 overview, okay? So I'm going to go to that right now. Okay, so this is what I call the Group 2 overview. Okay, so here in the red area, this represents the 15 option cards, and on the left side is the hits, and on the right side is the misses, okay? So you can see out of these 15 red areas for all 15 option cards, there was 4 hits and 11 misses, okay? So 11 option cards didn't have any winning Powerball numbers at all, okay? So what I do here, the magic number here is 8. 8 will show me a majority, okay? So if there's 8 or more misses, I color the background blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color the background red for hot. So again, I just have to look at the colors here, okay? So I'm going to guess that there's going to be lots of hits in this orange area, okay? And there's going to be lots of hits in this purple area. Okay, so as I go back, I'm going to head down, and you can see that you can see underneath lots of hits among the orange and purple areas of Group 2. Okay, so let me show you how this works. Okay, so this represents the 15 option cards. Okay, so when I go back to option card number 1, I look at the orange number. Okay, and it runs from the 3 down to the 59. Okay, so when I go from the 3 down to the 59, the only one left is the 35, so I wrote that down. Okay, so there was nothing over here in the purple area. So here's the purple, 5 to the 61. You can see that there's nothing there. Okay, so I did that with all 15 option cards. Okay, and it's off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 10, 14, 30, 35, and 39. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this is going to give me 10 hits, 5 misses in that orange area, and 8 hits, 7 misses in that purple area. Okay, so as I go back to the Group 2 overview, I'll show you a visual here. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be 10 hits, 5 misses, and because it's more than 8 hits, I'll be coloring it red if that happens. Okay, so that's what I want to see happen anyways. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 10, 14, 30, 35, and 39. Okay, so when it comes to the 50-50 picks, again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd, so you can see that the 10, 14, and 30 will make that happen for me. Okay, I also thought more numbers were going to come to the right side, and you can see that the 14, 30, and 39 will make that happen. Okay, and I also thought that it was going to be more low than high, so you can see that the 10, 14, and 30 will make that happen for me. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 10, 14, 30, 35, and 39. Okay, folks, so again, if you're interested in playing my game, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, I charge $10 a month, and that's to be considered the maintenance fee to keep the system updated. Okay, so again, I appreciate you watching. Okay, if you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. And as always, I want to wish you the very best of luck picking your own numbers. Okay, thank you.